Kia ora, ke te pehea koutou. Ke te whakarongo mai koutou ki Arrow FM, your community access radio station. Ke whaia kei nei, RAM, a program in which I attempt to let you know what's going on in the region, and if I'm really lucky, I have an exciting and interesting guest, and I am lucky this morning because I have Fraser Mailman here. Hi, Fraser.
G'day, Michael. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I was very good until I looked up at the monitor and see that those watching on television, that the camera is not pointing at me, nor is it pointing at you. But there'll come a time when it decides to behave. So, Fraser, you're here. I think of you as a person with many hats, is what they normally say, don't they? But many ways in which you contribute to the community. And at the moment, you're here representing the board of Masterton Trustlands Trust.
That's right.
Because we are, I noticed that now is the time when you're inviting applications for various educational grants.
That's right. We've opened up our educational funding to involve the community, and we've set aside $125,000 for applications from community groups that have an educational aspect. That includes schools, tertiary education, and those are the educational providers that are working in the adult sector. So we have opened it up, and this is the first time we've done that.
Yes, I think that's quite exciting that it extends beyond the youth, because of course education is lifelong.
Yeah, and this is a recognition of that. And we've seen and heard of exciting programs that are there, but obviously the bucket is only it's a finite amount. And we've in the past we've provided for some very exciting programs, both in the primary and secondary sector, and I'm sure that they will want to continue with some of those. So, and we also have in the past supported Aratoy with their educational program, and Wings over Wairarapa in terms of the educational day that they had the last time that Wings was here.
Right. Yep. I also noticed that there's the possibility of scholarships for apprentices. Right.
Yes, we introduced that 2 years ago, where we allocated 6 scholarships of $1,000 each, and that was to go to the paying of their fees and supporting them and getting them with their apprenticeship. Then with COVID-19, the government have taken that mantra, and they are providing support for fees, and so we've opened ours up to allow for those people that were successful in getting apprenticeships to go towards their tools or tools of their trade, so as to speak. Yeah. And because they are quite expensive as well.
Yeah. And now, of course, an apprenticeship is not just anything where an organisation like us might say, well, we're employing a young person or a person who's new to the workforce and that we're providing training. I decided to look up apprenticeship online so that I could get it right, and it says the detailed criteria for New Zealand apprenticeships are: an apprentice must be employed in the occupation for which they're training. Throughout the apprenticeship, an apprentice must be supported by a training plan agreed to by themselves, their employer, and the ITO arranging the training. And an ITO is an industry training organisation.
That's right.
So what you were saying then is that these are already identified because the government is providing the fees.
Yeah, the apprenticeships are currently in employment, and we're just supporting those tenants really who have supported us. We're supporting them and to assist their apprenticeships, and because the government have come to the assistance of the fees, we've decided to continue with the scholarships, but allow for people to purchase the tools of their trade.
Right. Yep, and that's interesting. That's to do with people who are tenanted in your properties.
That's right.
Yep, great. And there are many of those around the place.
We have a number of properties.
Yeah. So getting back to the community education grants, now that you're extending it beyond schools, can you give us an example of the kind of organisation or community group or whatever that might be able to apply?
Well, the one that springs to mind is Digital Seniors.
Yeah.
And where they are providing assistance to people in my age to get them up to speed digitally. And so that would be... it would be considered, a worthy application. But there are also, as I mentioned before, those schools that have been supported in the past. They have still got exciting programs that we'd like to continue to support. So there's just achieving a balance. This is the first year, so we'll see what the scope comes in, and then we'll moving on, we'll determine how successful it is, and who knows, it could even become bigger.
Yeah. And I think it is very important that people do understand education as a lifelong thing. You have to keep nimble in today's environment. Jobs are changing all the time.
Yes, that's right. And it'll be interesting to see, when we come off the wage subsidy with COVID, what sort of retraining is going to be necessary for groups of people that may be in a position where their job is no longer there.
That's right, yeah. In fact, the whole country may have to look at providing different types of opportunities for people.
That's right, and the way in which people work too has taken a bit of a hit, I suppose. If you were a property developer that had a lot of office space, there would be different ways that you may have to think about things.
Yeah,
because people have elected to work from home and have done so successfully.
Yes, well, you say take a hit, and I guess the people providing the space for businesses are taking a hit, but many other people are finding great value in working remotely.
That's right, and once again, it'll be important to ascertain what's taking place in that space, and move accordingly. And in terms of the CBDs, where there is more office space, but probably in the metropolitan areas, there would be some concerns.
That's great. I like the fact that in a way you, as a board, are educating yourselves as well. You are being nimble and trying to respond to a new environment.
That's right. Yeah. And we had a very strong and robust discussion around that. But we do recognise that, as I said before, that education's lifelong, and that we have to move with that too, and particularly in the times that are before us.
Yeah. Interested to hear you mention Digital Seniors. They have a program here on Arrow FM, and so I have some insight into their work, and I'm very impressed.
Yeah. No, it's a very valuable educational aspect now, particularly with everything being digitised, and so we have to move in areas where we can support people like that.
Yes, and you're right. It is everything. I think that the days of saying, even using a word like computer, everything is in a sense computerised, including your fridge.
Yeah, and to my surprise, even my dishwasher.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish maybe I could just, give things a kick and use the old methods. But we've got to keep alert to what's happening.
Yeah, well, our dishwasher broke down over COVID, so we had to wash our own dishes for a while there. It was quite enjoyable.
Well, that's digital. You're using your hands, your fingers. I was talking to Kieran McAnulty a while ago, going back to your discussion about how COVID has changed things, and he was saying that he and many other politicians were going to meetings digitally, using Zoom, etc., rather than turning up, and that he was finding often the meetings were more efficient, more got done. His carbon footprint was less because he wasn't driving over the Remataka Road every day. and he thinks a lot of that will continue later.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting in the carbon footprint in terms of the aircraft not being able to fly, and how that has been reduced.
Yeah,
quite significantly. Yes, we were. I was involved in a number of meetings on Zoom, and it certainly was a different experience during that COVID lockdown.
Yeah. There are always problems,
Well, for me, I started shaking all the time, and I had to go. All of a sudden, I was dropped off the program, and then I had to reboot myself. So, it was a little bit frustrating at times.
I know. Well, look, Fraser, if you feel that I have missed anything, is there anything that we haven't covered in this chat?
No, in terms of the trust and the educational initiative that we've introduced for the community, no, I think that's been covered. As I said, it's open to the various sectors within education, plus community organisations. And the tertiary grants, we're just delighted that we can continue to support those apprentices that have got that are tenants of ours.
Yeah. Just as a matter of interest, how has the lockdown impacted on you? Are you coping, and have you coped?
Well, I like to think I've coped, Michael. Yes. I found it quite surreal, I suppose. In day one of lockdown, I wondered what I was going to do. I decided to write some memoirs of my time in education and in sports. So that occupied my time quite well. And as a council, we were involved in Zoom meetings on a daily basis in the first instances, and then every 2 or 3 days. So, yeah, my time was occupied in a number of things.
I'm excited to hear that you're writing memoirs. I think that is something that's great for you, but great for the rest of us too.
Well, it's mainly for my grandkids. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to publish what I'm going to write.
Let's publish. Look. I think of you as the principal of MIS. Both my children were happy to have spent a couple of years there when you were principal, and those were happy times. I liked the feeling of that school, that yes, it was still a strong educational environment, but there was a focus also on life skills and cultural matters.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important in education in terms of in its schools. I was once told by a school principal that if you had a good PE program, a good music program, and a good art program, then your school would tick along really well, because they're the things that the kids really enjoy and want to get into, and I think schools have got an important role to play in making sure they provide a wide range of opportunities, particularly in intermediate level, but also at college, a wide range of opportunities for children to nurture their talents.
Yeah. My kids were thrilled also to be involved in kapa haka at that school.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was available to them and they could immerse themselves in some tikanga Māori has really had an impact on their life.
Oh, I'm pleased to hear that. When I first went to MIS, we had a very small kapa haka, and with the appointment of a number of people, particularly Rana Campbell and Russell Thompson, they have taken kapa haka to a new height. And I was at the school recently for a potpourri, and they were very, very strong. And they've also added another dimension in terms of the Polynesian club that they have.
Yep.
And once again, creating opportunities for people to learn their culture, aspects of their culture, and immerse themselves.
That's right, and it's our culture too. It's not strictly Māori culture. Of course, it is Māori culture, but we live here. It is part of who we are.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I had a similarly interesting time. Mostly, I was here, so I created my own bubble. I turned up to work every day and tried to provide a conduit for other broadcasters to continue their programs. Yeah. So it was an exciting but tiring time.
Yeah, well, I believe that you're involved with the television and aspect of it, and we were involved in that as well through council.
That's right. Yeah,
and I had that. It was a really challenging for me in terms of my ability with the digital devices, but and chairing the hearing submissions.
Yes.
And which it went on for one day, 10 minutes at a time.
I know, and also the council provided COVID updates, which came through us and through Wairarapa television too.
Oh, very good.
So it's turned out to be a really good way of keeping the public informed and I don't know, it's not just informed, it's just making people feel comfortable and not alone.
That's right, and knowing where people are at.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having a chat this morning, Fraser.
That's fine, it's been my pleasure.
Yeah, I'm going to cut to some music now, and many of you will probably know that Peter Green died recently. Peter Green was founding member of Fleetwood Mac. And a bit of a tragic case of why you probably shouldn't have too much LSD, because he had major mental health problems which caused him to leave the band, and he was in a whole range of mental institutions because that's what they did back then, but re-emerged years later and started playing again, so that was rather nice. People think of Fleetwood Mac as, I guess, that modern, more modern Stevie Nicks kind of thing. Peter Green founded the band, and he was... everybody thinks of Albatross, don't they? You know that ding, 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 that classic Peter Green guitar piece. But he wrote things like Black Magic Woman. You know, people think, wasn't that a Carlos Santana number? Yes, it was. But he wrote it. And Oh Well and all sorts of fabulous songs. So let's have a bit of that now. A live version.
I've got a black magic woman. I've got a black magic woman. Yes, I got a black magic woman. She's got me so blind I can't see that she's a black magic woman and she's trying to make the devil out of me.
Good, eh? In case you're wondering, Peter Green was the guitarist with the beard, not the other guy with the blonde hair. Or it could have been red. It's in black and white. What do I know? Hey, people who are watching the video of this later will notice that there's a bit of a gap. Just things disappear for a while and then come back again. And that's because I was so busy saying goodbye to Fraser that I pressed the wrong button. It's a salutary thing for me because, you know, as the manager of the station, I sometimes come in and point out to program makers that they've done something wrong. Well, it happens to all of us. Anyway, just a few things about what's going on in the region before I go and have a cup of coffee. All the farmers' markets are going, of course. At Aratoi, they've still got their Matariki exhibition on. And they have a new exhibition opening, let's see, on Saturday. It's Toi Raranga, the Art of Weaving. So they hold a collection of taonga Māori entrusted to their care by Māori and Pākehā families. Many of the woven taonga, korowai, kete and piu-piu have been owned by local families since the 1800s. Yeah. So this exhibition features traditional and contemporary raranga from the collection, including kahu kiwi, which is kiwi feather cloaks, tāniko and tukutuku panels created for Aratoi by local marae when the museum building opened in 2002. So that's definitely worth going to see. I will be going. I'll see you there. On Saturday, if you think, well, I'd like to do something interesting, something physical, but something that has some social good, then go out and be part of the Castle Point Restoration Project. So they're planting 700 spinifex and 300 pingao with the Department of Conservation out there, and the Castle Point Ratepayers Association, and Te Hika a Papaumu. No, Papauma. Get it right, Michael. So this is at St. Peter's by the Sea, end of the Jetty Road on Castle Point, Masterton, right? So you can register at the church car park. Did I say when it started? Yep, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock runs till 1 o'clock Saturday out at Castle Point. Register at the church car park at the end of Jetty Road. By the way, if the weather's really bad and they postpone, then they're going to try again on Sunday. Children under 14 must be accompanied by an adult. Dress appropriately for the weather, yeah, and wear sturdy footwear. Bring sunscreen, because even though it's winter, you can still get burnt. Hat, sunglasses. There are some spades provided, but bring your own if possible. There'll be a sausage sizzle and water provided. If you want to know about it, get in touch with the dock ranger, which is Aidan Broughton, on 027 287 8481. 027 267 8481. Also, you can Google it and find out all the contact details there. If you want to catch some exciting football, though, you can go to Trust House Memorial Park at 11 o'clock in the morning to watch the Wairarapa United Women versus Western Suburbs. Yeah. And then you think, well, that was great, but I still want some more. Then on Sunday at 2 o'clock, you can watch the men. Is it at 2 o'clock? Yeah, it is, 2 till 4. So, the Wairarapa United Women versus Western Suburbs is on Saturday at 11 o'clock at the Trust House Memorial Park. On Sunday, the Wairarapa United Men versus Lower Hutt City at the Trust House Memorial Park, 2 o'clock. Trust House Memorial Park's on Dixon Street. Also on Sunday, Wairarapa Word, because they have their events on the first Sunday of each month at the Carterton Community Courthouse, Holloway Street, Carterton. This time it's an open mic. with dark sky theme, because we're all about Matariki and dark sky reserves and stuff, eh? Don't forget that the Spinners and Weavers have their pop-up shop still opposite Kieran McAnulty's office on Queen Street. Don't forget the Featherston Community Centre is a hive of activity. You've got the Social Bridge Club, Belly Dance for Beginners, Feldenkrais Move with Ease, Featherston Senior Citizens Club with their cards group, the Mahjong Players, Toy Library, Needlework and Craft Drop-In. It goes on and on. In September, we'll be going down there to do a workshop about creating your own radio program and podcasts and things, but more information about that a little closer to the event. All right, it's been a pleasure. It really has, chatting with you, and I really enjoyed talking with Fraser too. So, quit while you're ahead, Michael. Am I ahead? Dunno. See you later.